Hey Cloud Gamers, today we're having a look at Jedi Fallen Order at 1080p. This time we're having a look at Google Stadia in Chrome, Boosteroid also in Chrome, maximum settings 1080 rig, and the Shadow PC boost tier. So starting off here, we're going to have a look at the first couple of cutscenes without saying which one is which. So let me know in the comments below if you can guess which one is Shadow, which one is maximum settings, which one is Boosteroid, and which one is Google Stadia in Chrome. From the Boosteroid settings, it was defaulted to medium and it asks you not to change them, although you can put it up to high. I did leave it at medium. Shadow boost and maximum settings were both set to high, just to see how much we could squeeze out of them. As we freeze here at the spaceship, we can see the quality of 3 of these is slightly greater than one of the others. As we bring in the tags here, so Google Stadia is actually the one in the bottom left in Chrome, Boosteroid also in Chrome on top left, maximum settings 1080 is the top right, and Shadow PC boost here is the bottom right. So looking at the images here, Shadow PC and maximum settings do seem to be a little bit clearer, but surprisingly, even though it is a virtual PC client in Chrome, Boosteroid does seem to have a little bit of an advantage over Google Stadia here, bar one small issue. Boosteroid does seem to suffer from microstutters, but even at medium settings it is looking extremely good, and if nothing else on par with Google Stadia. As we move over to Google Stadia on its own, at 1080 that quality looks pretty good, and it's definitely holding the 60 frames per second here. So we're looking very smooth. The Chrome footage of Google Stadia doesn't generally look as good as the Chromecast Ultra, but at 1080 it does look very good and plays extremely smooth. Using a PlayStation 4 controller here connected to the PC, and it's working perfectly fine. No input lag with Google Stadia, working as flawlessly as always. As we move over to Boosteroid for the same section, we see that the image is slightly clearer, but we do see those microstutters every now and then. It does ruin the quality a little bit. Also, it looks like it's not quite holding that 60 frames per second that Google Stadia was, although it's not far off. As there's now more EU servers for Boosteroid, the latency is far better, and I didn't really notice any input lag anymore, at least not on Fallen Order. It's still looking extremely good, and even on medium settings it's more than playable. So we move over to Shadow PC on the boost tier. Straight away we can see quite a quality increase, and as we start in that combat it's trying to hold that 60 frames per second, sometimes dipping a little bit lower, but at 1080 on high it's holding that 60 fairly well. Here we see those attacks being very smooth, and the quality on high here definitely shows the increased quality. And once again, no input lag here, but I will say that I still have an issue with my Shadow PC where it won't detect the controllers, and I had to use the mouse and keyboard for this. As we go outside we can see that increased quality still, and again the frames dipping down into the 50s. But generally it does hold higher and looks fantastic. As we move over to the maximum settings 1080 then, again we see it dipping into the 50s here. If you reduce some of those settings from high to medium, you will most likely be able to hold 60 flat out. But I think having the balance for the quality and the frames per second is worth it here. Just like on Shadow, it's pretty much on par. And again, no input lag, but this was being able to detect my controller through the Moonlight streamer. Once again, as we go up and outside, just like Shadow, we see that dip down into the 50s and actually down into the 40s on the maximum settings rig. So it does suffer a little bit more in that fast-paced movement, but overall still looking fantastic. As we come back side by side with some action going on, we can see those differences between the Boosteroid and Stadia versions quite clearly compared to the Shadow Boost and Maximum Settings versions. Even if Maximum Settings and Shadow PC would drop down to the medium, I think they would still be clearer here. There's definitely a loss of quality in browser versions, and again you see those stutters on Boosteroid. Overall, it does depend on where you're able to play and which budget you have. Bear in mind that you can actually play Stadia for free in the browser at 1080 if you have purchased the game on Stadia. Boosteroid will set you back £5 to £10 a month depending on what tier you use. Shadow PC is $15 a month. For the Maximum Settings rig, as the prices are in Canadian cents, it's 65 cents Canadian, so whatever that works out for your local currency. Let me know in the comments below which one you'll be using and whether you'll be playing Jedi Fallen Order in future. Thanks for watching, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest across all cloud gaming platforms, and I will see you next time.